Welcome to Bloodbath TV. Today we checked out Halloween Kills. Evil dies tonight.
It's been a long time coming. Blumhouse is back with the follow-up to their 2018 Halloween, and today we're going to be doing a spoiler-free review for the most part. We'll give you our ratings and stuff, and then after that we will gush about some really fun moments in the movie and talk about some spoilery stuff. This movie takes place directly after the first film, the first 2018 film. Fortunately for us, Michael Myers didn't die in the fire, so he comes out, he kills a bunch of people, and now it's up to the rest of the town to basically rally against him with pitchforks and baseball bats.
We've gone full Frankenstein here. Michael is the terror that the town of Haddonfield wants to kill and get rid of. Hence why
evil dies tonight.
It's really difficult to talk about this movie without talking about some central characters, which will be Tommy Doyle mainly. And he creates this mob mentality by saying, you remember what happened 40 years ago? They make sure you remember what happened 40 years ago, because I think they say 40 years ago, maybe 40 times.
We had just this beautiful, beautiful reunion.
But as far as like the actual story is concerned, there's not a lot. It's basically just Michael Myers running around killing people.
It's good and odd. I'm not gonna say it's bad, because he's the type of killer who will just kill people one off at a time, be really sneaky, whereas this one, it was a massacre. Like, he was taking down anyone and everyone in his path, fighting off like 5 to 10 people at once. That is something that you would see more from like Jason, not so much Michael. And it's not like it's a bad thing, it's just each have their own craft. And I wasn't expecting it.
I will also say that this movie felt like it was nostalgia bait. Nearly everything in this movie was set up just for fans of the series because of characters that they introduce, even most of the shot types, and nearly every shot from the first movie is in this movie, and I loved it.
The only part that upset me was the fact that Paul Rudd didn't reprise his role as Tommy Doyle, but bringing these characters back was a fantastic idea. And like when you see the 3 masks from Halloween 3, just like in that moment in the park, it's brilliant. Like, I popped huge for that. So it's cool that they're like, hey, you've watched all the movies. Here you go, have a little treat.
So there's a lot of stuff for fans, including the music. Everybody loves John Carpenter's music, and he's joined by his son Cody, as well as Daniel Davies. And the music is excellent. It's great through and through. Like, the soundtrack is gonna be a must-buy for any vinyl lovers for sure.
Something I didn't think I'd ever say in the Halloween franchise, but I liked our comic relief in Big John and Little John. Scott MacArthur and Michael McDowell, who are the current residents of the Myers home, I was overly entertained by their performance. It was just joking around and like making it a little more lighter while still keeping that tension.
That is pure sugar!
Pure heaven is more like it.
But I'm also happy that it wasn't too funny. Like, this is a more serious movie. There's some somewhat emotional scenes, but unfortunately, Jamie Lee Curtis isn't a big part of this movie. Her and her daughters like are in it, of course, but she's injured. She's sitting in the hospital for 80% of the movie, maybe more than that.
And it's not bad because like we kind of get exposition from her. She's almost like the narrator of the film, which is odd because you want to see her kick ass, but we're getting new people who are stepping up to the plate to try and take down Michael, and at the same time, we're getting a lot of new people who are just destined to die by his hands.
And in saying that, not only is Michael more vicious when he kills groups of people and stuff, he's just like really brutal. All of the kills are extremely violent. You see lots of broken limbs. You see blood spraying everywhere. There's incredible practical effects and the highest body count of all the Halloween movies, maybe combined.
I loved how he looked in this film. I loved how they shot him. Everything about his like presence was way more intimidating, and I actually felt scared whenever he was on screen. Not like I was jumping out of my seat scared, but like if this version of Michael Myers was in front of me, I would be terrified. And some of the other ones, I could just kind of laugh off. You've seen how bad the mask can get. But this one was probably the scariest of all the Halloween versions of Michael.
All right, I think that's as much as we can probably talk about as far as spoiler free. So let's give our ratings. You obviously need to watch this. There's no way what we say is going to sway you to not watch this film because you've probably watched all of the other Halloween movies and that's why you're watching this review, because you're excited for it. And I think you should stay excited. So I'm gonna give this 4 Nick Gage versus David Arquette kills out of 5.
MDK all motherfucking day.
There was enough nostalgia in here for old fans and a lot of really cool things happening for new ones. I think this is a film for everybody. So with that being said, I'm gonna give this film 4 couples costumes out of 5.
Now that we have our ratings out of the way, we will talk about spoilers a little bit. So you should head out now if you don't want any spoilers, but make sure when you click off, you go watch one of our other cooler videos, like Haunted Mansion, which John also gave couples costumes.
I'm Kermit, and Kermit is me, get it?
I think we need to start things off with one of the best name drops in this entire film, and that is where they reference Ben Tramer. It was such a good moment. When I said I popped for the 3 masks from Halloween 3, I did. But when I heard Ben Tramer's name, it gave me hope that in this universe, he's out there alive and we may get a cameo from him.
Love seeing Lindsay come back, reprised by Kyle Richards. We had Marion, played by Nancy Stevens. It's just cool to see actors come back and play the same roles that they played way back when.
Even if they aren't around. Loomis returned in a 2021 Halloween.
Now, unlike the CG mask from H2O, Loomis looked great. There's nothing bad to say about it. This is the kind of thing that I've been hoping for. This is like hologram Tupac all over again. Remember that?
There you go. Carrie Fisher in Star Wars.
Okay, fair. I also like that this whole movie started off back in 1978. So this is gonna be like 13 years after the events of the 1978 Halloween. So it's kind of neat that we're seeing Michael after he's done being a kid and he was grown up and he had returned to Myers' house to set up some more characters to carry on this movie. It's dope. And Michael Myers, we forgot to mention, James Jude Courtney. I think he's like the best so far. I love Nick Castle, and I think he's also in the mask sometimes here. But James Jude Courtney just has this awesome presence, and his kills are so dope. What is your favorite kill?
I think my favorite kill, because it's the one that I squirm the most, would have to be the knife through the eye in the backseat of the car. I couldn't believe it happened.
He was audible in the theater.
I was like this, I was like, I don't want to see it, but I had to.
And mine was my rating item. The light tube to the throat, I think, was so cool. He kills a lot of people.
Yeah, like Cameron. We can talk about Cameron's death here. It's right at the end where Allison and Cameron are going in to confront Michael. He brutally destroys Cameron's neck.
That little hope, though, that he might live.
And then the snap of the neck and the full twist as he walks down, again, looking very intimidating.
And I just love the angles that they shot that too when he's standing at the top of the stairs. Again, this is reminiscent of the original, and I love seeing it. I do think that they overuse a lot of nostalgia too, but I guess you would only really know if you knew the original like inside and out. But I did like the final shot where we have Michael looking at his reflection. We have Jamie Lee Curtis. She's looking past that. She's trying to find out where's Michael, and she's just ready to go head to head. And I just think that's really cool. There's a lot of lore that was introduced in this. The fact that he wasn't looking outside and he was looking at his reflection, I think that's just a really cool idea.
Yeah, even like introducing like certain new characters to bring in this lore and bring in plot points. Like, when you just go off of the very, very first one in 78, you have no idea what the purpose is. You have no idea why Michael is killing her and why he's coming back. What is the goals? What's the motives? The mystery was nice, but now after so many films, it's like, okay, we're getting somewhere. We're getting a reason that isn't Curse of Thorn.
And they did kind of patch up some like plot holes, or so we thought, from the 2018 one. Where it's like, wait, why would Michael have any connection to Laurie Strode? It doesn't make sense based on this new timeline. And they say like, oh no, it was his doctor who was forcing him to like come this way. And he just wanted to go to his house. Like, he didn't care about Laurie at all.
I'm curious to see where it will go from here. They've already reintroduced characters from the first film that are all growing up. The only person left who could probably take on Michael Myers right now, other than Laurie Strode, Ben Tramer.
Yeah, he would be like her age age, right? I don't remember if number 2 exists, but at the same time, they use footage of Halloween 2 for Marion, which means maybe 2 is canon to this.
She wouldn't have gone to the hospital, but they're not related in this one.
So they're like borrowing parts of 2, maybe just so that it makes sense to have this woman return. That's it.
Wait till the next one when Tom Atkins just comes strolling in and,
Hey, I recognize those 3 masks.
I saw this fella on the TV.
The Silver Shamrock. I'm sure they will do something like that because they blew all their load for nostalgia here. So they're gonna have to pick and choose what they want to bring over from the remaining parts of the franchise that aren't necessarily related to this timeline.
The guy half jokingly said, wouldn't it be hilarious if we see Danielle Harris continuing where she left off and things like that. I'm still bitter about the Paul Rudd thing. I'm gonna let it go, but I just want it to be known. He should have been in this film.
Because he's not old enough.
Because he doesn't age.
They could have done makeup.
They could have done makeup.
If they can make a CG Loomis, they
Yeah,
can CG some stuff on Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd's too busy these days.
He's doing Ghostbusters. He could have joined in on this. There's no Ant-Man movies coming around, and if there was Ant-Man, guess who else is in Ant-Man? Judy Greer!
Okay, fair. That would be weird. They could make a nod to the MCU.
A multiverse Halloween.
That's actually what the new Doctor Strange is about. So those are all of our thoughts. I mean, we could talk about spoilers the whole time, but again, I don't have all the clips that I want to show you, and I would need to analyze everything because it's hard to take in everything. Jimmy Champagne or Cody Leach or Drum Dums are all gonna do that kind of shit. So go check out those guys as well. But what did you guys think of this movie? Let us know in the comments. Like this video, and if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel, stay up to date with everything here on Bloodbath TV.